I told my separated husband he couldn't borrow my car to hang out with his friends. My husband Jake and I separated 3 months ago after I found out he'd been lying about money and hiding debt from me. We're still living in the same house because rent is crazy expensive and neither of us can afford to move out yet, but we sleep in separate rooms and basically live like roommates. The arrangement is pretty clear. We split bills, take turns with our 4-year-old daughter Emma, and stay out of each other's personal lives. When we separated, I made it obvious that my car was off limits unless it involved Emma. So last Friday night, Jake comes into the kitchen while I'm making dinner and goes, "Hey, can I borrow your car tonight? I'm meeting the guys at Dave's place to watch the game." I didn't even look up from the stove. "No, you can't use my car." He gets this confused look on his face like I just spoke a foreign language. "What do you mean no? It's just for a few hours." I reminded him that when we separated, I told him my car was no longer his to use unless it was for Emma. His car is this old piece of junk that breaks down every other week. The air conditioning doesn't work, the radio is busted, and last month the passenger door handle fell off. My car is a reliable Honda that I worked overtime for 2 years to pay off. Jake started getting annoyed. "Come on, be reasonable here. My car might not make it to Dave's house. It's been making this weird noise all week." I told him that wasn't my problem anymore and maybe he should have thought about transportation before making plans. That's when he really got mad. "This is ridiculous. We're still married and we live in the same house. Why are you being so petty about a car?" I put down my spatula and turned around to face him. I told him we might still be married on paper, but we're separated for a reason. He spent 2 years lying to me about credit card debt and secret loans, so now he doesn't get to use my stuff when it's convenient for him. He tried a different approach and said his friends were expecting him, and it would be embarrassing to cancel last minute. I suggested he call an Uber or ask one of his friends to pick him up like a normal person would do. Jake got really frustrated and started pacing around the kitchen. "You're being unreasonable. It's one night. What if there's an emergency with Emma and I need to get to her quickly?" I laughed and told him that was a nice try, but Emma was staying at my sister's house for the weekend, and he knew that. Then he tried guilt-tripping me. He said ever since we separated, I'd been cold and mean to him, and that using my car shouldn't be this big of a deal between 2 adults, but I wasn't budging. I reminded him that he lost car privileges when he lost husband privileges. If he wanted to act single by lying and hiding things from me, then he could figure out his own transportation like a single person. Jake ended up having to borrow his brother's beat-up truck to get to his friend's house. When he came back around midnight, he slammed the front door loud enough to wake the neighbors and stomped around upstairs for 20 minutes. The next morning, he tried to act like nothing happened, but I could tell he was still mad. He made this big show of researching apartments online and talking loudly on the phone about moving out. 2 weeks later, his car completely died in the parking lot at work, and he had to call his dad for a ride home. He asked me again about using my car to get to work until he could figure something out. I told him to figure out a long-term solution because my Honda wasn't part of it.